Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and today I'm going to be sharing 30 items in Coral Island that I highly suggest you do not sell. I will also try to do my best to explain why I think you should hold on to these items across your gameplay. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So number 1 on the list is trash. I've said this so many times, but please do not sell your trash. It is incredibly abundant across the island in early game, but as you progress and improve the quality of the ocean and the island, it will become less and less common, which is a good thing. We're saving the island. But trash is a very useful resource that can be used for crafting many items and can also be processed into scrap and compost, both of which are also very important resources. So speaking of compost, don't sell that either. You can use it to craft fertilizer, which will help increase the quality of your crops. So also don't sell fertilizer. Why sell your fertilizer when you can always use it each season on newly planted crops? Instead of making a small amount of extra money by selling your fertilizer, you could turn your regular crops into high quality crops and increase your income far more substantially, especially when it comes to crops worth processing to further increase their sell price. Next up is scrap. Definitely don't sell this. Scrap is used for crafting a ton of really important items, like sprinklers, and a variety of artisan machines. It is also required for some of the farm buildings you will definitely be creating, so hold on to your scrap, do not sell it. Coal. You're going to be surprised how often you're going to be running out of coal. Between crafting explosives and processing metal bars, you're going to need a hefty supply. And while you can always craft additional coal using wood and your kiln, still don't sell it. Another resource I frequently run out of is glass. You need it for bottling kelp essence, crafting mason jars, and more. And again, while you can craft glass, just keep whatever glass you have and use it. Don't sell it. Sandstone is by far the most scarce resource so far on this list, and while it isn't used for a ton of things yet, it might be in the future, and you will need it if you'd like to build any wells on your farm, so do not sell your sandstone. More commonly found is regular old stone, but still don't sell this. It isn't worth it. You're gonna need a ton to craft many different items, create all sorts of farm buildings, upgrade your house, and make beautiful decor. There are really great fences, paths, arches, chests, and more that are likely going to be staples in your farm design, and it will take quite a number of stones to create your entire layout since your farmland is so large. So if you want to go with the stone look, keep as many stones as possible. Even if you don't, I wouldn't recommend selling them. You're gonna use stone for so many projects. The same goes for wood, although I do believe it's more likely that you will run out of wood compared with stones, since you have to be actively replanting trees or relying on the supplies in the forest to acquire more, whereas there will always be an abundance of stones in the mines. So what I said about stone extra applies to wood. You're gonna need a ton of wood for craftables, farm buildings, decor, and more. There's really no use in selling it. Hardwood especially is very difficult to find right now, and while it's not currently required for much of anything right now, it most likely will certainly be in the future, so please hold on to your supply of hardwood. Next is fiber, which is essentially free animal food. All you have to do with it is pop it in your mill and store up to 150 pieces of animal feed if you also have the silo built. So keep all your fiber to process into hay and make sure your animals are always fed, and of course you will also need it for crafting. Next are tree seeds, so acorns, pine cones, and maple seeds. You can use these to make candied tree seeds in early game, which are really helpful with replenishing stamina, but also you will ultimately want to replant the trees you chop down, either to farm their materials, to decorate your farm, or to attach taps to for collecting maple syrup, resin, and nutty sap. So keep your seeds, replant them, and never run out of important resources. And speaking of seeds, any seeds. Don't sell them, plant them. This may seem obvious, but it could be tempting to sell off-season seeds for some quick money, and you may underestimate the value of wild seeds, especially in the first year of your gameplay. Keep all your seeds and plant them when it's their respective growing season, and definitely save your wild seeds for your first winter when you're highly likely to not have access to any at Sam's, or use some of the wild seeds in early game, like the first spring, to make money since they will grow proper crops crops, not forageables like wild seeds often do in other farm sims. So this is probably the most complex of all the points I have, but I would suggest not selling any high value quality crops. High value being a crop that's going to already sell for a lot at base quality, and then quality being, say, silver, gold, osmium, star. Most of these crops you can process using your mason jar or your keg, for example, to increase the value significantly, but other artisan machines are still yet to come and be implemented. The team is still in the process of rebalancing these machines and equipment, but many crops are still worth processing versus selling on their own, even with the longer processing times, especially those high quality versions. So for example, you always want to process your high quality grapes into high quality wine. I would argue that I think it's worth it to process the base grapes as well, but my rule of thumb with high value crops is to always process the highest quality like silver, gold, and osmium. Decide if the time spent on it is worth it for you personally. I feel like most of the time it should be. And then keep some of the base items for cooking, since cooking doesn't care about quality at this point in development. And then I often will sell the bronze quality crops for extra money, since I often don't find the bronze quality is worth processing, but it is dependent on the crop itself. I totally plan to make an entire comprehensive guide on this topic in the future, but I am waiting to see where the team settles on some of these prices and processing times before I let you know what I think is the best to process and the best to sell. So for the time being, kind of play around with it, try processing a little bit of everything, but I personally wouldn't sell off a high quality, high value crop. I would always process it first to make sure you are increasing your profit as much as possible, which leads us to also keeping low value crops and forageables that fall into the fruit and veggie categories to make some quick and easy money. I actually have an entire video on easy one ingredient recipes that I would highly suggest you check out if this is something you're interested in and would like to know more. And speaking of forageables, you should definitely not sell the rare Titan Arum flower or the Rafflesia flower, or you will miss out on a ton of money. If you're lucky enough to find these forages in the fall and winter respectively, process them into honey first and earn a minimum of 3,000 coins per honey, or even more if the flower is quality. Next is spider fur. You can use spider fur to craft fish bait, and it's currently very rare, so keep any fur you find. You can purchase fish bait at the beach shack, but it's always nice to craft some for free. Plus, who knows what other uses this monster loot might ultimately have in the future, so just keep it. Also, don't sell fish bait. Use it to fish. You're going to earn more money from any catch compared with selling your fish bait. So even if you have a whole stack and you just want some extra money, save it to catch those high value fishies. Some of them are very difficult to catch and you want to increase your chances with the fish bait. Similar to spider fur, I would suggest keeping monster essence and slime. Slime currently can be crafted into a snack. Monster essence doesn't really have a purpose, but it certainly will in the future, so it's best to be prepared. It doesn't bring in much money anyway, so I definitely think you should keep it. Start your supply of monster loot for when the team implements great craftables that require these items, and you will be prepared. Now the next 3 items are coffers, geodes, and fossil nodes. Don't sell these. By spending just 20 coins a piece, you have a chance to gain valuable resources and rare items that can be donated to the museum, offered to the temple in the future, or even sold if it's a duplicate of something you've already found. There is no reason to sell these items, and it's also so fun to open them at the blacksmiths and the lab. Even if you end up getting trash, it is so worth it to take the chance every time. And sometimes you actually really need the trash, so again, it's always worth it. Next up is bone. So sometimes when you process a fossil node, you will receive an item called bone. The description is TBD, and the item currently has a placeholder icon, which leads me to believe that this is not yet implemented. Bones sell for a very low price, so I would recommend holding on to them for now, in case it becomes either a future fossil piece that we need, or if bone ends up being a valuable resource. Do not sell your bone, keep it. We don't know what its purpose is going to end up being. I know I must sound like a broken record, but please do not sell any of the first items you need to donate to the museum, offer to the lake temple, or donate and offer. This goes for fish, bugs, sea critters, artifacts, gemstones, and fossils. Only sell them if you've already donated to the museum and offered to the goddess. Please. Now, I'm currently recommending that you do not sell any of the kelp you've collected or bottled kelp you've created. Even if you've completed all possible lab upgrades and have crafted all the sprinklers you desire, kelp is such a big part of this game. There's even an entire book on it in the library. So I wouldn't be surprised if large amounts of it were required in the future for new projects and craftables. I could actually see it being a key item for creating the community garden. So unlike tools, which you can't sell, even if they're duplicate tools, you can sell artisan equipment and various machinery. However, I would not recommend doing so unless your farm is overrun with these items or you just want to get rid of extras. I can understand wanting to sell, say, an extra mason jar for a little bit of quick money, but with just a bit of time and extra work, you can use all of the machines to make you far more money than you ever would make just by selling them. So second to last on the list is clothing. I get it, you purchased an outfit, you're tired of it. It's cluttering up your storage and you just want some extra coin. But I would honestly recommend keeping all of your clothes. First of all, they can now be stored in your wardrobe, so you can get them out of your chests. And I don't know about you, but I sometimes change my mind like the wind, and a lot of the clothing in Coral Island isn't cheap by any means, so I would just recommend finding other ways to earn money. Unless you really don't like the clothing item you bought and are never gonna wear it again, keep your wardrobe nice and full so you're ready for any occasion and you don't end up having to go back and repurchase that sweater you miss wearing. And last but not least, even more importantly, I personally don't believe you should sell any of your decor or furniture. If you're in this game for the long run, like myself, chances are you are going to change your mind at least a dozen times about your farm design, your interior design, and your layout. Keep your old decor when you switch things up, because it is highly likely that sometime down the line you will be looking for those exact items you sold to decorate with again. Similar to clothing, and even more so honestly, decor and furniture is not cheap in Coral Island. So don't put yourself in a position where you have to repurchase these items. Just keep a supply of all the decor you've bought so you can always switch things up and act whenever creativity strikes. Well, there you have it, friends. Those were 30 things that I don't think you should sell when playing Coral Island. Craft a ton of storage chests instead, which by the way can now be placed inside your home if you want to hide them, and keep all these items for future important uses. Let me know if you've sold any of these items, and let me know what else you think players shouldn't be selling when playing Coral Island. As always, I so look forward to hearing from you in the comments below, and with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care. And a very special thanks to Meredith, Formotus, Tansy, Cisco, Cheese, Coons, Divine Raven, and Magic, my beautiful Sunstone members. I love you all very much, and thank you so much for the extra support, which really helps to make all that I do on this channel possible and means the world to me.